Welcome to the Powerful Podcast, where you will learn the marketing, strategies, and beliefs to grow your dream business. Totally possible, and I'm so excited to share this with you. I'm Almira, and I grew and scaled my own business from zero to multi-millions and sold the business. And now I'm here to teach you exactly how to grow and scale your business from 6 to 7 figures and more with ease, simplicity, joy, and fun with, of course, strategy, mindset, and marketing to take you to that next level. Welcome to the Powerful Podcast with me, Almira. In today's episode, we're diving deep into the world of artificial intelligence and automation, not from a techie lens, but from a visionary one. How do you leverage these forces to expand your impact, simplify your systems, and scale with ease? Whether you're a CEO, a creative, or just AI curious, this is a conversation you absolutely cannot afford to miss. So let's unlock the future. AI, artificial intelligence. It can be used for so many things, from planning your travel, from planning your travel itineraries. Yes, you can. A friend of mine, it organized her entire trip to Sicily, including restaurants and hotels, and she had an amazing time. And administrative stuff, marketing, especially marketing, that's where I really get a lot of help from AI, and so much more. So let's talk about the marketing perspective. This is where I find it particularly helpful in writing my social media posts. It will write the Instagram caption, LinkedIn, newsletters. I actually bought somebody's program. Elisa Canali has this extraordinary AI tool called the Luxe Code. And she programmed it based on people's human designs and gene keys to be able to write copy that's magnetic, speaks in the voice of your human design and you. So it's super personalized. She's actually got the prompts that you would then use to put into your AI, ChatGPT, and you give it these prompts and this information from your human design and your gene keys, and it gives you amazing copy. It's unreal. We will be linking it to the show notes, but it is called the Luxe Code. So like I said, it'll be linked in the show notes. I cannot recommend this enough. I no longer have to spend time writing descriptions for my podcast for both Apple and Spotify. In fact, I can ask for one for Apple, and then the other day it said, you need a shorter one for Spotify, and it gave it to me. It will then tweak it for Instagram captions, text on videos, reels, then another version for a newsletter, including a really great email subject line. When it wrote my newsletter the other day, it then said, do you want any prompts in the newsletter to drive urgency or to connect better with your audience in this way? It's amazing what she has done. And it will also write me podcast scripts if I need to. The other day, I was planning out a podcast, which I'll be releasing next week, about the body and manifestation, and it wrote an extraordinary podcast script for me. So this is to say for marketing using ChatGPT. And you've seen it on Instagram. You can even put in, write me a story about my dream life. And it puts it out there. And the best thing about AI is I love how it expands on something. The way I think, I'm very direct. I don't necessarily have descriptive language or how people want to feel. Like the transformation doesn't come to me first. Results come to me first. So AI has really, really helped me be able to get into the minds of my extraordinary clients, give it the high touch that I want. And this is actually one key thing that I want to say about ChatGPT or any other AI tools is that if you're finding it's giving you vanilla content, you can refine it and ask the chatbot to refine it. This is a big one. It will otherwise give you the first option that's very vanilla. It's language I've heard before. It's not interesting. It's boring. So the way you got to do it is tell AI how amazing it is. Say, I know you can do better. You are super smart. Get really creative, really intelligent. You can give it flavors of your voice. You can actually program ChatGPT into the voice that you want, the results that you want. Very important to refine it. I was at a retreat over the weekend, and one of the amazing participants wanted some help for a job interview and writing a follow-up email to the client that she was interviewing with for a contract for this job. And she wanted a really great email. And so she asked Gemini, but it was very vanilla. I told her to refine it and also to stroke its ego. And she loved that version, but she still wanted a bit more. So she asked it to further refine. And you can keep asking it to refine. And also, like, it gives you 5 options, and you really like options 1 and option 2. Say, I like these 2, and it will summarize or work them together. And it's so time saving. I love it. Last week, when I was doing the episode show notes for last Wednesday's episode, within half an hour, I had Apple and Spotify show notes and descriptions, Instagram caption with text caption, LinkedIn post copy, newsletter, email subject line. And I always put out my episodes for the podcast on Wednesday. So the social media marketing goes up on Wednesday as well. And then on Saturdays, I'll do a reel or a video. Well, it wrote the script for the video that I did on Saturday and wrote the script for the Instagram caption, which is amazing. It's a huge time saving tool. I love it so much, but it's also very, very elevated, particularly the specific one by Elisa Canali. So like I said, I'm going to drop it in the show notes. Another thing that's so great is Otter, and that is where you talk and it does the transcription for you. So what I want to talk about specifically for this one is I'm a thinker. I need to think and brief people, which is often why I use Loom for videos to explain things to my assistant, or I'll leave a voice note in Slack for my assistant. I really need to talk things through. So what I'll do is that, I'll talk it out loud to myself and I'll get clear, or I'll talk it out with Otter. But then when I'm ready, I will actually dictate it to Otter so that I get a written transcript. I don't have to type anything, which is amazing. This is especially helpful for larger documents like team onboarding documents. And here's a hint, even for your contractors or any assistants or VAs or virtual people that you might hire, it is very important to have an onboarding document, even if it's 1 page about the company, the values. Maybe it is a photography brief or a graphics brief for a graphic designer or a VA that you're using, even if you're hiring them on Fiverr. Otter is a great way to save yourself time. Instead of typing everything out, you can dictate it to Otter, and then you can also edit it. You can also use Zoom and, just talk. And that's something that I do sometimes, is that I'll turn on Zoom, I'll talk about something, I'll have the Otter transcript going, and then I just go into Otter, which has already typed it up, and grab copy from there. So whatever is there to be able to help you. Onboarding docs for your team, like I said, they're super important. And, when they're joining your team, they should know about your business. It's always really helpful to have information, or maybe it's contact details, or, if you are bringing a team member onto your Google Drive, it can be an explanation of where all the documents are, right? Like, it's clear organization. Otherwise, keep in mind, every time you bring somebody on, you need to bring them so many times. I actually was trying out different VAs over a year. I couldn't quite find the right fit. And so I taped all of the information over Zoom, created a data bank on videos, and had a little welcome package. And so that I could just, give them this information package. Of course, I introduced myself at first. We had half an hour in the first morning. I'm talking about myself, the business, welcoming them to the company. And then I had an information package that I shared with them. It took a couple of times, but then I nailed getting the right assistant. She's amazing, but I still needed to brief her. So that package that I created came in super handy. And this is especially as you grow from 6 to 7 figures and you're adding more people onto the team, whether employees or contractors, or even a marketing team, like an agency. You can use these tools to be able to brief your agency. Or if you are looking for a virtual assistant or an OBM, online business manager, you can easily brief them as well. Now let's talk about the difference between a virtual assistant and an OBM. A virtual assistant is somebody who you tell them what to do. Now, they should definitely have some experience because it's going to make your life easier. If you hire somebody who's totally green and has not done it before, they might be very creative, but you're probably going to have to explain to them more of what you need. They won't already know it. And my business is more fast-paced, so I do need a greater level of expertise. With an OBM, an online business manager, they are your business manager. They already know how to do things. So if you're hiring an OBM to help you launch a course, there are specific OBMs who do course development and course management and the social media marketing behind it. Or an OBM who does events, right? There's so many of them out there, and you can just Google for them. So an OBM will actually take everything off of you, and really it's a big up level because it takes a significant piece of your admin and operations work off of your shoulders. And these people are just, I mean, VAs and OBMs are just magical creatures. For my graphics on social media, actually taking the photos, putting the content together, creating the social media post, graphics and with pictures and stuff like that, I don't know how to do it. So, and also it's not worth my time because it does take me a lot of time. And even with editing my podcast, my VA does both of those tasks, and it is a huge weight off my shoulders. So I highly recommend. I will be dropping the details to the company that I use. They're out of the Philippines, and all of the VAs are amazingly trained and they have 5 years of experience in their field. So I highly recommend them. Then, for organizing all of the information, your documents or things, definitely if you want to present a package or have all of the information in one place, Notion is great. I know that you can use Google Drive and you can store documents in there. But then, of course, when you're onboarding a new team member, then they have to find stuff and then you have to have directories. It's actually really great that you can just give them a link to Notion. And in there, you have a box for, values in the company, and they're basically clicking through a digital document, or I'm trying to think, a digital storehouse, but a really easy one of all of the information. It's so well laid out. It's amazing for teams. So I would highly recommend it, and that will also be included in the show notes. Going back to looking for a VA, there's websites on there, or even if you just need contract work, you can look for hiremymom.com, which is out of the US. And all of the gig workers, if you will, they are moms, stay-at-home moms, or moms who want extra money. And they have various skill sets, and you post a job and they answer. And I've had phenomenal work through hiremymom.com and also through Fiverr. Before I had my VA, I had people on Fiverr making great graphics for me for different gigs, and they've done workbooks for me and freebies, which is great, especially with the writing. When I needed somebody to do a freebie and they could already write one. I see that as a huge time saver. There's also Upwork, but it's not my favorite. I do find it just takes longer to find somebody. Whereas I know what gig I actually want, like I want somebody who does this job, so it's easier to search Fiverr, which I prefer. Next up is for managing your sales process. You can have leads and maybe they're everywhere. And I know, like, especially if you're a busy mom and you're running a business, you might have leads that you need to follow up on, or you're trying to track it, or at what stage a proposal is in, or you are trying to see who, this is again when you're doing in person, not you're doing an offline business or bricks or mortar or service-based business. I couldn't find a database that I actually liked where I could keep track of all this information. There were some out there in the days, which I didn't love. So I actually created a simple spreadsheet in a Google spreadsheet. And in there, it would have the name, contact details of the potential lead, how I would connect it with them, and a little drop down boxes where you could choose options. Was it a referral? Was it a SEO lead, through the website? Was it an introduction? Did they come to me? Was it by email? Things like that. And the date of the first phone call, the outcome, then the second follow-up, so the date of it, the outcome, any follow-ups I might have sent. And that would be even sometimes when it's a follow-up or you've had lunch with somebody, you met a new contact. I'd put them in my database. I'd have a tab for new contacts. And, after you have lunch, you follow up with them. Maybe you find a really great article, like where's your value add when you're doing the business development or even just making a new contact, keeping track of my value add, who I might have sent an article to or something helpful or introduced people, because I always kept my network going. And I tracked it all through my Google Drive spreadsheet. And, you could see also the status of where a proposal was. Was it submitted? Was it required for follow-up? Was it with the client? Have they signed? Have we sent the invoice? Those are some really key pieces just of the follow-ups as you grow your business, especially if you go from being a solopreneur to growing your business. Otherwise you're just going to have everything in your head. And it's harder at that point to be able to delegate because you do need to have, some document to explain to delegate. And it's fine. You could do that in person, but think about it is that if you already had a spreadsheet or even just had a VA do a spreadsheet for you and you were tracking things, it would be easier to turn over. And that's a lot of what I look at my business is what can I do now that it's already done or that I can just hand over to somebody? I look at it as delegation also takes time. And I think that's a big piece of this is, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I don't know how to delegate. But if you already have, or if you are already, I don't know, um, briefing somebody on Fiverr about your graphic design needs, will save those emails and put it into Notion or into a Google Drive document for yourself where you already started and have it as you go. So it's there, and then save it in a really organized manner. Now, next one is about newsletter databases. And you know that if you use, and then there's so many different types of newsletters out there, I use MailChimp to hold the newsletter information, but then we actually use ConvertKit to get it out. And we can track who's opening the newsletters, when the newsletters are being opened, what links they're clicking on. And then you can further refine the database to see who has opened it, who hasn't opened it, because that's a great way to do a follow-up email. Maybe you launch a program on a Monday and on Tuesday, you send out another email to those who haven't opened the original one. Like it's a really great way to follow up. And you can see if you are doing a drip sequence, which is, when somebody gets your freebie or joins a program that's free, you then send out follow-up emails. And all of those sequences can be put into your newsletter. And so it's got automatic follow-up and automation happening. There's also a great tool called Zapier. And that is where you set up zaps that connect everything. Like when this happens, this email goes out. It's a really great program and makes automation so easy. And then finally, I want to share a really great branding company and tool with you called Workplay Branding. And it's a subscription service where you pay $500 US a month and you get 4 photo or video shoots. You choose for every one, you choose if it's photo or video, or sometimes you can pay extra and do both. And it's awesome. They set you up, you do a brand book. You can change your brand look every season if you want, or what types of photos, and you get thousands of photos. You get all of the raw ones. They will edit any ones that you need. They will even lay them out in your grid if you want them to. And the photographers and videographers are amazing. I'm in Vancouver, Canada, and my videog comes up from Seattle, so she drives over. So if you were not in a place where a photographer or videographer already is, you would have to pay the travel fee and an accommodation fee. But so far, it's been super reasonable to do that, and the pictures are stunning. They are amazing. I'm going to drop a link to Workplay Branding as well. And the cool thing is they have photographers all over the world. So if you want to do a shoot in Paris, they have somebody there. If you want to do a shoot in Bali, I'm sure they have somebody there. So you can do international photo shoots and video shoots, which is wild. And the photos are gorgeous. So I hope I haven't overloaded you. This is all to say that you need to simplify, 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 use the tools of automation, and to be using ChatGPT. You can do anything, even getting parenting advice on ChatGPT, but it really is all about automation, organization, systems. I've actually also developed my own performance management tool for my team that outlines the skills that they have, the skills that they need or to already have or to develop to get into the next step in their career, along with the salary ranges. So it's so clearly outlined. We go through it. We have people performance meetings. It's very clear what steps that they need to get to. And it's also very personalized. Like, what are the areas that they want to grow in? Do they need education? They also have professional development budgets associated to them, or do they need a tool that we need to buy? And, if I buy a tool, also, it's not just here, you get this tool, like these are the results that I expect to see in relation to your skill up leveling in using this tool so we can track it or measure it. Otherwise, we're just throwing everything at them, but not always getting a return on our business, right? It's very accountable for both my team member as well as myself to ensure that they have the support and the growth that they need. And it's just a really great time to get one-on-one connect time with my team. And it's been really helpful putting this together. I have not seen any other programs out there that have been as good, which is why I built my own out of Google spreadsheets, and it's been wonderful. Anyways, that is the sexy, maybe unsexy world of AI, automation, and systems in your business, but this is so important. And I'm telling you, when you don't have systems and processes and efficiencies in place, that is where energy is leaking out of your business. It's where your head is full with all of the clutter and where you can't get the most important work done and where you're also not in your zone of genius. So I hope these tools were helpful. If you have any questions, you know how to contact me, and here's to your success. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Powerful Podcast. I've so enjoyed sharing all of my insights, all my mistakes, all of my learnings as I grew and scaled my business from 6 to 7 figures. If you enjoyed this, please leave us a review. And then I'll send you back my top 3 ways to make $10,000. And I tell you, they're super easy, super creative, and super easy for you to implement. So please drop us the review, send it over, and we will send you back with my top 3 ways to make $10,000.